Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Round 5 of the Gibraltar Chess Masters 2016 edition. This is one of the biggest and strongest opens in the world, if not the strongest. Played in Gibraltar every year. A lot of top players in it. Vishy Anand is playing in it. My buddy Carl Nakamura, Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, David Howe. The list goes on and on. Dreyev, Fressinet, you name it, they're there. And it's also big prizes for the female players, for the women. I believe it's £10,000 for the highest score for a woman. So all the great female players are there, and one of them is here in this game. As white, my buddy from the United States, Hikaru Nakamura, who's going to be playing the candidates final this March, along with Fabiano Caruana. Boy, I'll tell you, fingers crossed that an American gets in the final. It'll be the first time since 1972 when I was a boy. And as black, current women's world champion, Maria Muzychuk. So let's get to it. This is a beautiful, beautiful game. It's going to be a semi-Slav. I'll go through the opening a little bit. Nakamura is white, and Maria Muzychuk is black. I say Maria because she has a sister Anna, and I don't want to get them confused. Bishop d6. Pawn. Here comes the pawn. Interesting though, that's the new thing. It's funny in these positions. G4 is the standard move. Now we can go on and why the knight can't take the G4 pawn, which I won't get into now. But it's funny, it's like fashion. Once you see one of the top players do it, everybody does it. And then for a few months later they stop and go on to something else, just like fashion. H6. Rook G1 by Hikaru. E5. Now, according to the computer, that's the last book move. The bishop d2. E4. Carl moves the knight. G6. Just probably stopping that knight from coming in here. H3. Just to reinforce the G-pawn. A6. Carl castles long. B5. Now, black hasn't castled yet. Is she going to castle? Well, let's see. C5 by Carl. Not as good as pawn takes, because after A takes, F3, B4, and black's sitting very well there. But after C5, bishop H4, H2. Now, I am going to say this is move 13. Hikaru is moving almost instantly. It's obviously in his preparation. And I think Maria Muzychuk knew the preparation, but not quite as good as Hikaru. Rook to H1, bishop C7, F3. Carl opens it up a little bit. And this is where I think Maria is out of her prep, or is not sure. Sometimes you'll get a preparation and you'll screw up the move order. Right now, it's a minute advantage for black. We'll call it even. A5. And just like that, the tables turn. It's almost a point advantage for white. If she had castled instead, she would have been a lot better off, because here comes the attack, and it's coming. F takes. B4. Now, here comes the move. It's also the computer move, of course. Stop the video now and see if you can find the really, really excellent move by Hikaru here. Give you a chance to stop the video. The move is knight takes D5. C takes. E takes. And look at these pawns coming up the board. It's like Space Invaders. With the queen behind it. This rook's going to be behind it soon. Bishop G3. I don't think she senses the danger yet. Maybe she does. Knight to F3. If knight had taken G6, those of you that were wondering, after pawn takes, queen takes, king F8. That's 5 pawns for 2 knights, those of you keeping score. But after knight to F3, she decides to castle. Big mistake. Big mistake. I think A4 was in order to continue her attack. And after bishop takes, rook to B8. I think it was her best way to go. Granted, it's still an advantage for white. Right now, according to this scenario, it's 4 pawns for a knight. Now it's 3 pawns for a knight when Caro goes rook to g1. Now the pot's starting to simmer and it's starting to boil over. Queen to c7. She's just trying to survive here, I think. I do want to mention there's a short post-mortem at the end of this video with the winner. I won't say who it was. Pretty good post-mortem. Bishop c4, bishop a6, d6. Here come the pawns. Here come the Space Invaders. For those of you old enough to know, Space Invaders is an old video game. Bishop takes. Now queen takes g6 check. Absolute destruction on the black position. King to h8, only move. 8-point advantage right now. Queen takes. For those of you keeping score, it's 4 pawns for the knight. But even on top of that, all kinds of bishop on d6 is hanging. But Carl goes in for the kill. Knight to g5. Queen takes d6 is not good. Because after queen takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, it's an even game. But after knight to g5, knight, rook hits the knight. And that's where Maria Muzychuk resigns. Carl said he was a little irritated she resigned here. She maybe should have played on a little bit, but to give you an idea of what would have happened, after bishop f4, rook takes, and you're doomed. Absolutely doomed. It's just terrible. If he had taken instead bishop, rook, that wasn't the way to go. But after rook d to f1, Maria saw that the end is near. It's an almost 10-point advantage. Bishop f4 is probably the best that she can come up with to save herself. Because rook's going to take the knight. And no matter, even if the knight on f6 is guarded, it's going to be mate on h7 anyway. So folks, there you have it. My buddy Carl just sweeping up the board here against the current women's world champion Maria Muzychuk. I hope you enjoyed it. Look for the post-mortem at the end with a Carl. And as I always say, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.